if we really want to perfect the modern guest journey, we first have to understand how we even got here. So let's explore that journey, from guests just needing basic shelter to today, where they're searching for a real, meaningful connection. You'll see why understanding this evolution is absolutely critical for your success in hospitality today.
Hello, and a very warm welcome. I'm an AI specializing in hospitality operations, and I'll be your guide on this learning journey. This program was built just for you, the students of the Europe Hotel School, to help you grow as professionals. We're going to start by diving into one of the biggest, most fundamental shifts our industry has ever seen.
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the very beginnings of hospitality, then we'll trace the rise of the big hotel brands, and after that, we'll unpack the game-changing personalization revolution. From there, we'll get into the mind of the modern guest, and, maybe most importantly, we'll explore why all of this history really matters for your future career.
Okay, let's start our journey way back in the past. Long before there were loyalty points and online reviews, the whole idea of hospitality was something much, much simpler. In the very beginning, it was really just about survival. Early inns, they were basically communal spaces. They offered a roof over your head, a meal, and some safety from the road, and that was it. But as travel started to become more common, expectations slowly began to shift. Guests started wanting some basic comforts, things we totally take for granted now, like a clean space and maybe even a private room. And then this trend just exploded in the mid-20th century. Suddenly, with air travel becoming accessible, you had this incredibly diverse international audience showing up, which created a huge need for a more standardized, predictable kind of service.
And that exact need for standardization, well, it kicked off the next great era in our industry, the age of the hotel brand. This was a time that was really defined by one single incredibly powerful idea.
And that big idea was brand standardization. Think about the pioneers like Hilton and Marriott. They built their entire empires on this one concept. They made a simple promise to every traveler. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, your experience with our brand will be familiar, it will be comfortable, and above all, it will be reliable. For decades, this wasn't just some nice feature, it was the main event. Consistency was the single most reassuring promise a hotel could possibly make, and it gave those big brands a massive competitive advantage, especially when travel could feel so unpredictable. But then, everything changed. Technology, and specifically the internet, came along and triggered this fundamental shift in power. It took the power away from the brands and put it directly into the hands of the guests themselves.
The focus just completely flipped. It went from consistent reliability to creating unique, individual experiences. The new driver wasn't the brand's promise anymore. It was the raw, unfiltered power of digital reviews. All of a sudden, guests could compare hundreds of options in seconds, and naturally, their standards just went through the roof.
This quote just nails the turning point perfectly. That reliable, standardized stay? It wasn't the goal anymore. It was the absolute bare minimum. Guests were now empowered with information and endless choice, and they started demanding something more. So, if consistency is just the starting point, what exactly is that something more that guests expect today? Let's try and decode the mindset of the modern traveler.
You can see how the journey has progressed. It began as a basic need for a standardized, safe stay. That evolved into a desire for a personalized experience. And now, we're seeing this shift towards something even deeper. Guests are actually looking for a memorable relationship, a real sense of connection with the place and its people. And this is exactly why a one-size-fits-all approach just doesn't work anymore. Think about it. A business traveler, they're prioritizing efficiency. They need flawless Wi-Fi and a quiet place to work. A couple on vacation is searching for atmosphere, for an emotional connection. Families need convenience and safety above all else, and a solo traveler is often looking for authentic, local culture. Every single guest shows up with their own unique set of expectations.
So, these expectations really form the heart of the modern guest experience. They want seamless technology, like mobile check-in, but at the same time, they want authentic experiences that connect them to the local culture. They demand total transparency in pricing and expect proactive solutions when things go wrong. And more, they really value cultural sensitivity from the staff and sustainable, eco-friendly practices from the hotel itself. Now, what's so interesting here is that while personalization and efficiency are clearly the biggest drivers of guest satisfaction, look at what's still incredibly vital:
authenticity and human connection. Even in our digital-first world, guests are craving sincere interactions that feel real, not like they're from a script. Finding that perfect balance, well, that's the key to modern hospitality. Okay, in our final section, let's connect all of these dots back to the most important question. Why does this evolution matter for you as a future leader in hospitality?
This right here summarizes the entire journey we've been talking about. We've moved from fulfilling the most basic physical needs, just survival, all the way to satisfying these incredibly complex emotional desires for an experience, for meaning, and for a genuine relationship. Hospitality is no longer just about delivering a service, it's about creating meaning.
Knowing this history gives you context, and that context is what makes the difference between just reacting to a guest's request and proactively anticipating their needs. It's how you understand why a warm, personal welcome matters, why transparency builds trust, and why personalization has become such a fundamental expectation. It allows you to see what a guest wants before they even have to ask for it. If you remember just one thing from our time together today, please let it be this. The simple transaction of renting a room has been totally transformed. Today's guest isn't just buying a place to sleep. They're looking for a connection, for a story, for a relationship.
And that leads me to the final question, the one I want to leave you with. As you move forward in your careers, I want you to constantly ask yourselves this. In every interaction, with every single decision I make, what am I doing to move beyond just providing a service and start truly building that relationship? The answer to that question is what will define your success.